Hello students, today we are going to start with chapter 5, that is the periodic table, okay, which will give us the history of the modern periodic table. So during the 19th century, chemists were thinking of ways to classify the elements according to their similarities in their physical and chemical properties, okay, because it would help them in studying the elements in an organized manner, and it would help in correlating the properties of elements with the fundamental properties of all states of matter. So, the development was stepwise. First of all, Dauber-Renner's law of triad was proposed, then Newland's law of octaves, then Mendeleev's old periodic law, and then finally Moseley's modern periodic law, which we follow till date. Okay. Now, what is the history of the table? Dauber-Renner, he gave the law of triad. So, he observed that if we take three elements, okay, which has similar chemical properties, the atomic weight of the second element was exactly the arithmetic mean of the atomic weights, or we can also call atomic masses of the first and the third elements. Okay. So, these are the examples of triads. So, you can see here in this example sodium. So, the atomic mass of sodium will be the arithmetic mean of the atomic masses of lithium and potassium. Similarly, for these two triads as well. Now, so let us take the three elements calcium, strontium and barium. They all are metals. They each has an oxide which is alkaline in nature. They have valency 2. So, they were put in one group to form a triad called Dauber-Renner's triad. Now, the atomic mass of calcium is 40, strontium it is 88, barium is 137. So, the atomic mass of the middle element strontium, it is actually the mean value of the atomic masses of calcium and barium, as you can see here. No, if we take out the arithmetic mean, what did we get? 88.5. This is nearly the same as the atomic mass of strontium. Similarly, if we take chlorine, bromine and iodine, why do they form a triad? Because all are non-metals, they all react with water to form acids, all have valency 1. Now, if we take the mean of the masses of chlorine and iodine, what do we get? 81.25, which is approximately the same as the atomic mass of bromine. But the Dauber-Renner's law of triad was discarded. Reason: he failed to arrange all the then known elements in the form of triads. The law did not fully apply even within the same family. For example, taking halogens. For example, the first three members, okay, fluorine, chlorine, bromine. So, what is the mean of the atomic masses of fluorine and bromine? It is 49.5. But what is the atomic mass of chlorine? 35.5. So, there is a vast difference. Okay, so it was discarded. It was not successful. Then came another chemist called John Newlands, who proposed Newland's law of octaves. Okay, so he created a table of 7 columns and entered the elements in increasing atomic masses, and he called them the law of octaves. According to him, every 8th element would repeat the properties of the first element. For example, lithium and sodium. Sodium is the 8th element. So, lithium and sodium will have similar properties. Okay. So, when elements are arranged by increasing atomic mass, the properties of every 8th element starting from any element are a repetition of the properties of the starting element. Okay. So, why is it called the law of octaves? Because we can compare it with the Western music as well as the Indian music, where every 8th note is a repetition of the first note. Okay. So, here you can see few elements are placed together. Okay, so he divided the elements into horizontal rows of 7 elements as shown. Okay, and what do you see? Inert gases were not known at that time. Now, what are the merits of Newland's classification? These systems worked quite well for the lighter elements, no? For example, lithium, sodium and potassium, as you can see in the table. Okay, it relates the properties of the elements to their atomic masses. And for the first time, it was known that there is a distinct periodicity in the properties of elements. That means the properties of elements are repeated after a regular interval of time. But his law was also discarded. Why? His classification did not work with heavier elements, those lying beyond calcium. So, as more and more elements were discovered, they were not fitted into Newland's octaves. So, Newland adjusted two elements, cobalt and nickel, in the same slot, as you can see here. No, cobalt and nickel, they are present in the same slot. Okay, and these were placed in the same column as chlorine, fluorine and bromine. And you know that, no, cobalt and nickel are metals, whereas fluorine, chlorine, bromine are non-metals. So, how they can be placed in the same place in the periodic table? Now, iron, which resembles cobalt and nickel in properties, that has been placed far away from those elements. So, let us see the table. You see, no, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, which are, as you know, halogens, no, they are non-metals. They have been placed in the same group along with cobalt and nickel. Okay, but this cobalt and nickel, no, they are similar, they show similarity with copper, but that has been placed in different position in the periodic table. So, his law was also discarded. Okay. Then comes the periodic law. So, Mendeleev was a Russian chemist. Okay. So, he was the first chemist to arrange the 69 known elements in those days according to increasing atomic masses. Okay. So, the first periodic law proposed by him stated that the properties of the elements are a periodic functions of their atomic masses. Okay. So, the periodic table is a chart of elements prepared in such a way that elements with similar properties, they will occur in the same vertical column. Okay. So, why is it called periodic? Because elements with similar properties, they reoccur at fixed intervals of time. And why it is called a table? Because elements are arranged in tabular form. Now, let us go through the essential features of Mendeleev's periodic table. His table contained vertical columns called groups and horizontal rows called periods. So, they are in all 8 groups, group 1 to group 8. Okay. Each of these groups from 1 to 7 is divided into 2 subgroups A and B, but group 8 has no subgroup, and inert gases were not known at that time. All elements of a subgroup have similar properties and so the same valency, which is equal to the group number. Suppose if an element belongs to group 4, its valency will be 4. But for those elements which belong to the group 5 to 8, 5 to 7, in order to calculate the valency, what is done is that their group number is subtracted from 8. Suppose if an element belongs to group 5, so its valency will be 8 minus 5 equals to 3. Suppose an element belongs to group 7, so its valency will be 8 minus 7, that is 1. Okay. And in a period, elements gradually change from metallic to non-metallic character. That means as we move from left to right. Across the horizontal row, the metallic character decreases and the non-metallic character increases. So, what are the merits of Mendeleev's table? Grouping of elements. Okay. So, he generalized the study of the elements, then known to a study of how many groups? 8 groups. And he left gaps for undiscovered elements. Okay. So, he left some gaps. He thought that maybe those elements will be discovered in the future. So, those gaps will be filled up. Prediction of properties of undiscovered element. He even predicted the properties, okay, of the undiscovered element. How? On the basis of properties of elements lying adjacent to the vacant slots. For example, Ica aluminium means one place below aluminium in the group. Okay. So, its atomic mass and chemical properties are quite similar to those of the element gallium, which was discovered later on. Okay. So, what did he call? He left a vacant space and he said that I am calling this for the time being the element as Ica aluminium, and it will be discovered in the future. I am giving the name Ica aluminium because it will resemble aluminium, and later on that element was discovered which was named as gallium. Similarly, properties of Ica silicon, that means placed just below silicon, okay, was proposed by him, and later on it was known to be the element germanium. So, you can see here the properties of Ica aluminium, gallium, Ica silicon and germanium. Then he was able to correct incorrect atomic mass, okay, like the elements gold and platinum. So, he placed them together strictly on the basis of similarities in their properties. But there are some defects in Mendeleev's periodic table. First defect is anomalous pairs. So, the following pairs of elements did not follow Mendeleev's principle. Argon, whose atomic mass is 39.9, precedes means is present before potassium, whose atomic mass is 39.1. But this should not be there, because how are the elements placed in the periodic table? In the increasing order of their atomic masses. Similarly, cobalt with atomic mass 58.9 was placed before nickel, whose atomic mass was less, 58.6. So, these elements, that is argon and potassium, they were called as anomalous pairs. Another one is cobalt and nickel. Then comes another example, tellurium and iodine. Okay. Then comes the position of isotopes. Now, you all know what are isotopes. They are atoms of the same element having similar chemical properties but different atomic masses. Okay. So, according to Mendeleev's periodic law, isotopes of an element must be given separate places in the periodic table. Why? Because they have different atomic masses, but they were not assigned separate places, they were placed together. Then grouping of chemically dissimilar elements. Now, few elements like copper and silver, it does not have any resemblance to alkali metals like lithium and sodium, but they were placed together in the first group. Then separation of chemically similar elements. Now, elements such as gold and platinum, no, they should be placed in the same group in the periodic table, but they were placed in separate groups. Then it does not explain the electronic arrangement of elements, and the position of hydrogen could not be fixed. It was considered in group 1A as well as in group 7A. Why? Because it forms a positive ion That's why in group 1A, okay, as well as it forms a negative ion, that's why in group 7A. So, there was a confusion regarding the position of hydrogen. Then came a scientist called Moseley. He found that atomic number is a better fundamental property of elements compared to atomic mass. So, what does the modern periodic law say? Physical and chemical properties of elements are a periodic function of their atomic numbers. So, if elements are arranged in order of the increasing atomic number, those with similar properties are repeated after regular intervals. Okay. So, how did Moseley explain the defects in Mendeleev's periodic table? The position of isotopes was sorted out because since the elements were now arranged on the basis of their atomic number, and the isotopes of an element, they have the same atomic number, so they can be put at the same position in the periodic table. Then position of anomalous pairs, no? For example, atomic number of argon is 18, mass number 40, whereas the atomic number of potassium is 19 and mass number is 39. But now the problem was solved. Why? Because the elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic number. So, argon can be placed before potassium. Okay. In a similar way, the position of cobalt and nickel are also justified. So, this is the modern periodic table. As you can see in the table, okay, and this is the latest notation, okay. The latest notation is that we do not follow that Roman numericals, okay. What is followed? Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, these groups, no, from 3 to 12, they are called the transition metals. They are present in the middle of the periodic table. Then comes 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. So, you see these lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium, they are called as the alkali metals. The second group elements are called the alkaline earth metals. Okay. Then you can see here metalloids, which have the properties of both metals and non-metals. As you can see, boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, okay. Then tellurium, they are all metalloids which show the property of both metal and non-metal. Okay. Then comes noble gases, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Okay. And then you can see these are the two series which were not kept in the periodic table because it would distort the shape and size of the periodic table. They were placed at the bottom. They are known as the lanthanide and the actinide series, okay, about which I will discuss with you in the next class. Thank you.